Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Mrs. Riddle is already occupied with Samuel and June's wedding. Aren't we just going to add to her burden? Lulu asked, feeling a little worried. Don't worry about that, Nicole said with a smile. First of all, there'll be people helping my mom with it, and secondly, I believe the news will only delight my mom. It's not going to be a burden to her at all. Yeah, there's no doubt that she'll be happy. After all, it's not the first time she has rushed us to get married. Samuel shrugged his shoulders, feeling a sense of relief as his family would never pressure him to get married from here on out. I didn't expect that guys like you, who have so much to offer, would be pressured to get married. June lifted her brows, surprised that Spencer and Samuel, who possessed such qualities, as well as a reputable family, would face a problem like that. Although I don't know what they're thinking, I believe it is a nationwide phenomenon, and it has nothing to do with the individual. Samuel shrugged his shoulders, harboring the thought that no child in the world could escape the fate of being urged into getting married. Ding dong. The doorbell rang and Lulu immediately stood up. It's probably the dinner I ordered. She quickly marched for the door as she spoke, and there, she saw that it was indeed the dinner she had ordered, so she brought it in. Very soon, all of them sat down in the dining room with dinner prepared on the table. We had initially planned to take everyone out for dinner, but we ditched the idea considering Samuel's current condition. Lulu stated, "Is there anything else any of you would like to eat? I can order more." "It's okay. This is more than enough. I'm good. This is already a very decent meal." Lulu smiled. "Let's dig in then. We'll eat here for tonight, and I'll treat everyone to a meal once my leg recovers." Samuel promised confidently. "Sure. We're going to have a feast then," June chimed in, as she figured that Samuel's recovery could be a cause for celebration too. "That's a good idea. We can invite more people and have a gathering," Nicole agreed, knowing that it would be a joyous occasion for the entire family. As they ate and chatted, they became so merry and joyful that they lost track of time. Suddenly, Nicole's phone rang, and when she took a look at it, she saw that Jared was calling. She swept her gaze across the time on the screen display, and there, she realized how late it was getting. She answered the phone, and in an apologetic tone she said, "I'm sorry, I lost track of time. We're almost done eating, and I'll be home soon. Can you put Nolan and Lana to sleep first?" "I'm downstairs," Jared calmly said. Nicole could not help but feel a little surprised. "What?" "Yeah. I just got done with work, so I came to pick you up," Jared continued gently. "Oh, I'll come down now then," Nicole replied, and hung up. Nicole knew that Jared had something else to do in the company, but she was not expecting him to work till late at night. If anything, she thought that he had already gone home. After that, Nicole looked at the rest of them apologetically. "Hey, I'll be heading back now. Carry on, guys." "Yeah, you should go home now since Mr. Johnston is already here to pick you up." The others nodded in agreement. They felt at ease knowing that Jared had come over to take Nicole home. And with that, Nicole left the apartment and made her way downstairs. Sure enough, she saw Jared's car, but then, he was waiting for her outside of it. Jared walked toward her and gently stroked her hair. "You look happy." Jared could tell that she was in a very good mood and figured that they must have had a great chat. "Yeah. Both of them have decided to hold a joint wedding. I'm sure that Mom and Dad will be delighted to hear this news." Nicole's eyes lit up as she said. She genuinely thought that it was a great piece of news. Not only had her best friends found happiness, both of her brothers had also finally found the love of their lives. It was something that would bring joy to the entire family. "They're all getting married?" Jared frowned as he looked at Nicole, feeling a little frustrated deep down. "Yeah. Hey, they're getting married, so what's with that look?" Nicole looked at him in confusion. He's upset? Why wouldn't he be happy when others are getting married? When are we getting married? Jared suddenly stopped in his tracks, his face darkened as he looked at Nicole. He had been left feeling rather impatient for a while now, and it was frustrating for him to not only not be able to marry her but to also have to witness the wedding of others. Nicole's lips twitched as she wondered, why are we talking about us now? When are they getting married? Jared continued asking after noticing their silence. Nicole looked up at him, seeming to understand what he was implying, and could not help but shake her head in defeat. Let's not join in on the festivities for now. As long as you agree to marry me, we can do it any time. He had long been prepared for the occasion, so he was just waiting for the green light from her. As for the wedding ceremony, they could hold it any time. I know, but the entire family is celebrating Samuel and Spencer's weddings right now, and they need to prepare for various things. So, maybe it's not the best time for us to pile on to that, Nicole explained. I don't. The two of them bantered as they headed toward the car. Meanwhile, back in the apartment, the four of them had finished their meals as well. Seeing that it was getting late, Spencer and Lulu got up preparing to leave. We're heading back now, they said, bidding the other couple farewell. Sure, let's meet up again some other day, June said, not trying to keep them as it was getting late. Soon Lulu and Spencer left the apartment. After seeing everyone off, the only ones who remained in the apartment were Samuel and June. Why does it feel a little empty all of a sudden? June shrugged, thinking about how merry it was just a moment ago. Now, she found the sudden silence difficult to stomach. Samuel reached out and pulled June over to him, who ended up sitting on his lap. Hey, be careful of your legs. June's face turned pale with shock, afraid that he might end up hurting himself again. It's okay, I'm being careful. Samuel smiled, indicating that he was fine. June then scolded him playfully. Are you laughing? If you get hurt again, I won't take care of you anymore. Of course, I won't get hurt again. I'm hoping my leg will heal immediately, Samuel laughed. In fact, he was looking forward to completing the recovery process so they could finally get married. You should continue to rest properly. June rolled her eyes. Although his condition had improved significantly, he still required more time to complete his recovery. After that, Samuel tightened his embrace around June and said, Well, I just can't wait to marry you and bring you home. June's face turned red, and she playfully patted Samuel's shoulder, saying, Let go of me already. She was genuinely concerned that it might strain his leg. Regardless of whether they were in a hurry to get married or not, she just wanted him to recover as soon as possible. June wriggled around trying to break free and stand up, so Samuel had no choice but to release her from his grasp, albeit reluctantly. Give me a second, I'll clean this up and get you back to sleep, June said as she began tidying up the dining table. Watching her getting all busy, Samuel's eyes began brimming with tender affection for her. He envisioned that their life after marriage would be like this, a warm little home, a happy and comfortable life, and perhaps their own children in the future. The more he thought about it, the sweeter it felt. A smile deepened in Samuel's eyes and lips, which were tinged with anticipation. Now more than ever, he felt truly impatient, longing for the days of happiness that belonged to them. After the table had been cleaned, June turned her gaze to Samuel. Seeing the dazed look on his face as he stared at her, she raised her brows and asked, What are you looking at? You. Samuel smiled, his eyes filled with her presence alone. June's cheeks reddened as she playfully shot Samuel a reproachful look. Go to sleep now. Must have been a really special day. He's speaking so sweetly. She walked over and pushed Samuel off in his wheelchair, guiding him toward their bedroom. Once they were inside the room, June helped Samuel lie down on the bed, and after he had been wiped down and tended to, she pulled the quilt over him, saying, Go to sleep. Samuel reached out and held June's hand, begging, Stay with me. In response, June pushed his hand away. You have a good rest. If she stayed, he would not go to sleep, and proper rest was what he needed to expedite his recovery. Samuel pitifully furrowed his brows as if June had wronged him, waiting for her to comfort him or compromise. Seeing through his intentions, June rolled her eyes and retorted, That trick won't work on me anymore. He was always pretending to be pitiful like this, but she could not give in this time. Fine, Samuel acquiesced in defeat. Then, he looked at June and said, Lower your head a bit. Why? June asked, puzzled. I have something to tell you, Samuel said in a low voice. June leaned closer to Samuel, wanting to hear what he had to say as she was curious about the sudden air of mystery around him. Unexpectedly, Samuel planted a kiss on her cheek. June's cheeks flushed as she did not see that coming. Go to sleep. June shot Samuel a glare before turning to leave the room. She was worried that if she stayed, she might give in and stay even longer. For the sake of a speedy recovery, she decided that she should return to her own room as soon as possible. Samuel smiled adoringly as he watched her leave, feeling defeated and helpless. As June returned to her own room, her heart was still thumping wildly. Unconsciously, she bit her lip as a coy smile crossed her face. At this moment, downstairs, after Spencer and Lulu left, they called a driver which had been designated for them. The aforementioned driver arrived after some time. Spencer handed the car keys over and informed him of Lulu's apartment address. Once they had gotten into the car, the chauffeur began taking them to Lulu's apartment. I will talk to my mom about our wedding as soon as I get back. Mom is already preparing for Samuel and June's wedding, so she has the experience. I think she should be able to prepare everything quickly. Spencer looked at Lulu, his eyes brimming with tenderness. Okay, Lulu blushed and nodded. Shouldn't I visit your parents first? After all, she and Spencer had decided to get married in this sort of fashion. They had decided to hold a joint wedding with Samuel and June on their own, and this meant that they had not told their parents about it yet. Got it. Spencer gently held Lulu's hand. I'll start planning. You should also give it some thought too. You can let me know if you have any requests or wishes, and we will definitely try to fulfill them. I don't have any special requests, Lulu answered. For her, being able to marry him was probably her biggest wish granted already. In response, Spencer darted his eyes at Lulu and said, "This is our wedding. Are you really not planning to share any ideas or suggestions?" Even though they were having a joint wedding with Samuel and June, they could still incorporate their own ideas into the event and express any wishes and desires they had for their future life. He would make sure she was satisfied regardless. I'm really fine with it. Lulu's cheeks turned red. After all, it was Spencer's parents who were organizing the wedding, so she believed it would be done in excellent fashion. Seeing her reaction, Spencer agreed. All right then, let's follow my family's arrangement for the wedding. And after our wedding, we can travel to a remote island for our honeymoon. How do you feel about that? Lulu's eyes widened in surprise. How did you know I? This was indeed what she had been thinking, but she was worried that the Riddle family might not agree. After all, the Riddle family was also a prominent household in San Joto. If they chose such a location for their honeymoon, it might attract gossip and rumors. Spencer smirked. Why wouldn't I know? She had mentioned weeks prior that she wanted a place where no one would know them, to enjoy a vacation without having to worry about the stares from others, to be free to walk the streets without being swarmed for autographs or photos. It would just be the two of them enjoying a moment of peace. Such was why he knew what she wanted. He had already planned it and wanted to choose a place like that for their honeymoon. To top it off, they could also embark on vacations together like that every year. Lulu was extremely moved as she bit her lip a little and whispered, "Thank you, Spencer. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for being so kind to me. I'm truly grateful to have met you," she continued in her thoughts. Spencer gently pinched her in the arm and said, "Silly girl, I don't need your gratitude. You're already my wife. I'm happy as long as you like what I've prepared." "I'm not your wife yet." Lulu's cheeks turned even redder. Spencer's lips curled into a gentle smile as he extended his arm and embraced Lulu. "Soon, you will be." Resting in Spencer's arms, Lulu bit her lips with a smile, feeling an unusual sense of reassurance. Early in the morning on the next day, Nicole opened her eyes along to the sound of birds chirping. "Hey, did you sleep well?" Jared's voice blared out in her ears. He had woken up as soon as she moved. She smiled, sat up and replied, "Yes, I did. Let's get up." They had returned quite late yesterday, and their family members were already asleep by then. Because of this, She did not have the chance to talk to her parents about Spencer and Samuel's decision yet. Spencer had returned even later than her, so he had most likely not gotten the chance to say anything either. Still, it was a joyful occasion, so it would be better for her to let her parents know about it as soon as possible. Nicole quickly washed up after getting up from bed before heading downstairs. Meanwhile, Gloria and Daniel were already seated in the dining room, chatting to Alfred. "Mom, Dad," Spencer greeted as he walked into the dining room. "Oh, you're up. It's still quite early though. Why don't you go sleep for a little while longer, honey?" Gloria suggested with apprehension in her voice. Nicole curled her lips into a smile. "One thing's for sure, he slept very well. We have some good news to tell you all." "What good news?" "You're beaming," Gloria asked as Nicole took a seat at the table. "It's about Spencer and Lulu. They've decided to have a double wedding with Samuel and June. You guys might need to double down on the preparations for 2 couples now." Nicole laughed. Gloria and Daniel, who were taken by surprise, raised their voices and belted out, "Really? This is great news." Both Gloria and Daniel were overjoyed with the news of their kids being married off one after another. 5 years ago, the trio, Stanley, Spencer, and Samuel, had sworn to never get married, but now it seemed that they had eaten their words. Gloria was relieved that her immature sons, who would initially flee from the slightest mention of the word marriage, had finally matured. "I knew Mom would be the happiest hearing the news, but this wedding will now be twice as grand. Will you be able to handle it?" Nicole asked with a smile. "Of course. I'm so excited," Gloria said, being more than happy to organize a wedding for not just one but 2 of her sons. "I think we ought to find someone to help you out since it's going to be quite hectic," Daniel suggested with some concern in his voice. Gloria shook her head in disapproval and disagreement. "Why? I don't feel at ease with someone else in charge and helping me out." After giving it some thought, Daniel suggested, "How about we get Emma to help?" "Sounds good to me." Gloria immediately agreed. "Everything will come in place if Emma could come by and help out," Gloria thought to herself. "Okay, you can contact her later today to ask." Daniel finished, knowing that Gloria would have someone helping her out so that she would not exert herself too much. Then, Gloria nodded in agreement. "Okay, I'll give her a call after breakfast." They went on to converse among themselves as the rest of the family came in one after another. "Mom, is it true? What you said just now?" Lana ran over with her stubby little legs, having overheard what her mom had said. Nicole gently pinched Lana's button nose and smiled. "Yes. I think your dream of becoming a flower girl is going to come true. Can I call Lulu and June my aunts now?" Lana asked, feeling very excited for the wedding. "Yes, you can," Nicole replied, a little taken aback by how persistent Lana was. "Mommy, now that Uncle Spencer and Samuel are getting married, when will you and Daddy get married?" Lana looked up at Nicole with her puppy eyes and asked. It was then that the corners of Nicole's lips twitched involuntarily. She is indeed Jared's child, without a shadow of a doubt. Then, Jared pulled Lana in for a gentle hug and said, "I think Mommy and Daddy will have to wait for a little while longer." Lana frowned. "Wait? How long will I have to wait? What are you in a rush for? Haven't you gotten your dream of being a flower girl fulfilled?" Nolan snapped. Nolan knew that his godfather Lawrence stood no chance with his mother at this rate, but when he heard that Jared was going to marry Nicole, he could not help but be on guard. "Even if I don't get to be the flower girl, I still hope that Mommy and Daddy will get married earlier," Lana refuted, shooting a frown at Nolan. "They're not even in a hurry to get married, so why are you?" Nolan pouted. In reply, Lana exclaimed, "That is all the more why I should be. If I'm not worried about when Mommy and Daddy will get married, then this wedding is going to take forever." Lana thought to herself, "Hey, stop bickering and eat your breakfast." Gloria stepped in, diverting the attention of the twins. Everyone wanted Nicole and Jared to hold their wedding as soon as possible, but at this very moment, no one dared to bring it up as it was up to them to decide. Come, let's all dig in. Spencer and Stanley, who had just arrived, quickly sat down and began to eat. The Riddle family were all in attendance as they ate their breakfast in peace while chatting happily about Spencer and Samuel's wedding. After breakfast was over, everyone left to go about their daily routines. Meanwhile, Gloria picked the phone up and called Emma to ask if she wanted to help her plan the wedding. Without hesitation, Emma agreed. This is double the fun. Okay, I'll come over in a jiffy. Okay then. I'll wait for you here. Gloria grinned ear to ear as she hung up. Then, she shot a glance at Daniel. Emma agreed. She's going to come over in a bit. Daniel nodded, feeling reassured. Okay. It's good to see that she wants to help out. Gloria then began listing out the things she needed to do for the wedding. Samuel's injury might need up to 2 months to recover completely. I think it's enough time for us both to plan and prepare for the wedding. You can inform Mr. Riddle Sr. of what's happening. Lulu and June have yet to meet him in person. We have to ask them if they would like to have dinner with him. Hearing this, Daniel reminded, I think it is best if we refrain from intervening too much and get Spencer and Samuel to inform them directly. They might be embarrassed if we ask them to. Gloria nodded before she hesitantly said, True. Then we'll leave this matter for them to settle. However, they will still have to pay him a visit at least once. What? Daniel asked in confusion. Gloria gave Daniel a blank look. We have to prepare some gifts for them. Consider it a token from our family. They can't just get married without informing the family, I mean. It's rude to not visit the elders and host a wedding so abruptly. Gloria thought. Oh, yes. Why didn't I think of it? Daniel snapped back to his senses after giving it some thought. Gloria shook her head. Okay. I'll sort these things out with Emma when she arrives. She'll be of much help as compared to you. Why don't you visit the family manor? Sure. I'll leave this to you. If there's anything you need me to do, just holler. Daniel finished. It was a family event, and thus, everyone had to be involved in one way or another. With that said, Gloria smiled. Okay. Not long after, Daniel left to visit the family manor while Gloria continued her planning as she waited for Emma to arrive. Meanwhile, at the headquarters of the Riddle Corporation, Nicole had just arrived when Steve came striding into her office. I heard that there are some good things happening. The news reached you quite quickly, huh? Did you install some surveillance cameras at home or something? Nicole teased. In response, Steve shrugged. No, I actually bumped into Stanley earlier and he told me about it. I guess it's going to be quite busy for the entire family. Yeah. Mom and Dad are over the moon right now. Nicole sighed as she recalled the beaming smiles on her parents' faces. Steve nodded. If they haven't been putting this off, I think they should have been done with these wedding preparations earlier on. It was not easy for them to put things on hold until now, given the circumstances, Steve thought. Nicole darted her eyes at Steve. Did you come here to tell me this? No, there are other things. He smiled. Then, in a low voice, he said, Everett is really trying to investigate the family assets. He's covering it up by searching for 2 missing painters while he's going crazy just to acquire more information about the family's assets. He won't find it. However, one thing is for sure. He will definitely mark us as the suspects, Nicole replied with a frown. Sean had already removed each and every trace so that Everett would wind up in a dead end in his search for more information. However, Nicole was adamant that Everett and Damien would be able to dredge something out in the end. They can suspect us as much as they want. All I know is, they don't have any solid evidence to come at us, Steve said, his voice icy and low. Apparently, there's nothing much, but honestly, I'm quite worried that they won't stop, Nicole continued. I know Everett and Damien can be quite stubborn, but they definitely aren't the type to sit idly by and take it all lying down, she thought. Steve smirked. For now, they don't have anything against us, but it's expected that Dylan will suffer a little. Damien's circumstances might prove to be a disadvantage due to how limited his influence is. However, I'm worried they might plot against Dylan to secure Dillcorp just so that they can have another go at us, Nicole thought. The situation over at Snow's side seems to be rather favorable. Nicole's eyes darkened as Dillcorp was brought up. Harvey had put the operations on hold for a while, but they should resume soon. If they really are going to make a move, what should we do? Steve asked as Dillcorp might be at risk of being lost to Ellison Group. Nicole smirked. Let's just wait and see what happens. Don't forget that we still have Rain. We ought to get them to start a mess first. All we have to do is ensure that Dillcorp does not end up in the hands of either Damien or Harvey, Nicole thought. Steve shrugged in response. Okay. Let's watch and see how it plays out when they make their first move. Then, Steve chatted with Nicole for a while longer before sauntering out of the office to get back to work. Nicole picked up the document on her desk and began working. Meanwhile, at Dillcorp, Rain was leaning against her chair with a sullen look on her face, apparently lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, the door of her office busted open, and James Harlow came storming in. There's literally no news about the family manor, James informed in a low voice. How is it that there's no news at all? Rain was confused. This is a very important document. How can it just go missing with no traces left to be found? This is way too suspicious. James then continued with a frown. Oh yeah. Everett is also looking into this matter, while the other three are not doing anything. At all. It was then that Rain raised her voice. What did you say? What do you mean they aren't doing anything? I'm not sure. James shook his head. I have no idea if they didn't care enough for it, or they stopped investigating, since they can't find anything. Confused and pale, Rain asked. But how will they explain anything to Grandpa if they stopped investigating? Steve is keeping an eye on Everett. Perhaps he'll present a set of results similar to Everett's. As for Preston and Ella, they're all good for nothing, James explained. However, he was still puzzled as he wondered what these people had in mind if they had chosen not to investigate the matter. This caused Rain to lash out. How could they not do as they're told? Feeling that it was a great opportunity to cause some havoc, James asked, should we tell Grandpa? No, not yet, Rain shook her head. Damien is currently the biggest suspect. Maybe they can come across some discoveries by monitoring Everett. Rain knew that Preston would be of no use, as well as Ella. She thought that it would be best for them to do nothing and wait to see what would unfold. If she spilled the beans now, she might just end up stirring a beast into action. All right then, James agreed reluctantly after Rain had decided on their next course of action. We should wait for news from the Riddle Manor, Rain ended the topic, feeling miffed by the situation. Then, James paused and whispered, Snow might be up to something. What have you heard? Rain asked, her expression darkening. Snow has been making progress with Harvey. Both of them are often featured in the headlines of the news. Rumors have it that something great will happen, James said with a meaningful glint in his eyes. TSK. She's still so naive after all these years, Rain scorned. In Rain's eyes, Snow was daydreaming. If Harvey really liked Snow, how is it that he had not acted in these past 5 years? Besides, I have not noticed any passionate enthusiasm from Harvey towards Snow. If anything, Snow seems to be the one who's clinging onto Harvey. But with Harvey by her side, Snow had indeed attained a higher position in the company. One can even argue that she overshadows you, James said, feeling a little irritated. She has Harvey to back her up now, and a lot of people are still hoping to strike a deal with the Ellison Group, he finished. At this juncture, Dillcorp was still a second-rate company due to its sorry state of affairs. Everyone in Dillcorp had hoped that there would be projects from Ellison Group. That way, it could potentially move up by a tier or two. Rain gritted her teeth in resentment, her face blanching. She was furious as she thought about the notion of losing everything. She had worked so hard to gain to Snow. She gritted her teeth and said, No, I won't let this go her way. All of them were influential figures during their days at Royal Creek Institute. Nicole was now with Jared, and Snow had found Harvey. In comparison, Rain was reduced to marrying an ill-esteemed outcast of a third-rate family, something which she did not feel good about. Rain was still tolerant of the idea of Snow getting together with Harvey. After all, Snow was still her sister, and would help Rain when needed. However, now that Snow had also gotten into the company, Rain would be left with nothing if the former managed to take over. The more Rain thought about it, the sourer her grimace became. She resented the current situation, and with that in mind, she decided that she would never allow Snow to take the company over. "What's in your mind?" James asked in a low voice after noticing Rain's silence. "Get someone to keep an eye on Snow," Rain said, suddenly interrupted as someone knocked on the door. That was when she turned her gaze to the door and announced, "Come in." The secretary entered, saying, "There's mail for you, Ms. Riddle." "A mail? Who sent it?" Rain asked while eyeing the envelope in her secretary's hand. Then, her secretary placed the mail down and explained, "There are no signatures or contact numbers on it." The only information on the envelope was the name of the receiver, Rain. Apart from that, there was nothing else. Thus, the receptionist had initially hesitated before inquiring about Rain's secretary, worried that the envelope was of some measure of importance. Because of this, she had gotten someone to send it to Rain. "All right, you can leave," Rain sent her secretary out, her mind filled with doubts. She could not ascertain what that mysterious envelope was all about. Until she could figure it out, she did not want anyone else to know. After picking it up, Rain carefully examined it, finding nothing but her name on it. This wasn't mailed through a courier. Someone had sent it over directly, James observed. The person wanted to remain anonymous. Rain opened the envelope, having understood the sender's intentions. When she found a few documents inside, she proceeded to take them out. It was obvious that the sender had chosen this approach just so that they could maintain their privacy. Rain read the details on the documents, and the look on her face shifted at an instant. Her shock was visible as her eyes widened. "What's wrong?" James asked, noticing Rain's expression. "Harvey and Everett are colluding," Rain struggled to string together a complete sentence. The news shocked Rain greatly. This revelation had made her wonder how genuine Harvey and Snow's relationship might be, as Harvey and Everett were working together instead. While Damien's family and Dillian's family had severed ties with one another on the surface as of recent, they had been at each other's throats for a long time now. With that said, Rain could only attempt to deduce the reason behind Harvey's action. "Harvey approached Snow for Dillcorp," James exclaimed, realizing the seriousness of the matter. His face paled, finding it hard to believe the ambitions that Damien's family had. "This can't be allowed to do that. I have to tell Dad." Rain stood up, intent on looking for Dillian. However, James held her back and warned, "Calm down. You might startle the enemy. We can't afford to wait any longer. By then, it will be too late." Rain was anxious, worried that Harvey had already made his move. "Dad may not believe you if you confront him without any solid evidence. And if Harvey finds out about it, we will be rendered powerless in that situation," James explained. He feared that they would not be able to stand against Harvey without an ace up his sleeve. Fortunately, James' analysis calmed Rain, who then asked, "What then?" "Since we've received the news, it's up to us to find a solution," James said, his eyes dark and cold. "What solution?" Rain pressed. Without a proper plan of action, Rain would not go out on a limb and act on pure impulse. "Since Harvey and Everett have set their sights on Dillcorp, why don't we?" After listening to James' plan, Rain slowly settled down, and eventually, she flashed him a smile. "That's great. Let's do it your way. Sure enough, your ideas are always great. I'll make the arrangements. All you have to do is pretend as if you're oblivious to the situation," James explained. Rain nodded. "I got it." After the couple had worked out a plan, James threw the envelope into the shredder. At 3 in the afternoon, the sun was scorching hot, and the summer heat had not abated in the slightest. Just then, Nicole came out of the office building of Riddle Corporation and got in the car with Lulu in tow. "What made you want to visit Mr. Ellison?" Lulu asked. Nicole had yet to recover her memories, so technically, she should have no impression of Mr. Ellison. I met Harvey the other day, and he tested me, Nicole explained, wanting to clear her suspicions by paying a visit to Mr. Ellison and talking to him. He's so cunning. Lulu rolled her eyes and muttered in frustration. Nicole sighed in response. Well, you've beaten me to it. Harvey was no ordinary man. Nicole had always gotten a strange feeling from him. Harvey seemed normal on the outside, but Nicole felt there was a sense of malevolence in his eyes. Even when Harvey was smiling, it would seem blank, almost devoid of emotions. Lulu, what happened to the Ellison family in the past 5 years? Nicole asked. I'm not sure about the specifics. All I know is that Harvey has been crowned the head of the family. Now, he is also fully in charge of the Ellison group. As for Mr. Ellison, he's just a principal now. Lulu carefully recalled the sequence of events about Harvey. Harvey's journey of success has been so effortless. He's now the head of his family and company. Shouldn't he be happy? Nicole wondered, unable to figure out the reason for the feeling of gloom she felt emanating from Harvey. Speaking of which, Harvey has indeed changed from the previous school hunk he used to be. It's hard to put into words. It's like, you know this person, but there's an indescribable sense of strangeness. It's like you've never really known him, Lulu explained. Nicole agreed, as she had the exact feeling. Although she did not recognize Harvey, she could still tell that he did not convey a good impression. Thus, Nicole could understand what Lulu was saying. As they were talking, the car stopped, and Nicole gazed off at the cafe across Royal Creek Institute before taking Lulu out of the car with her. Upon entering the cafe, everything inside seemed to evoke a sense of familiarity. Although she could not remember anything, this place somehow felt dear to her. Mr. Johnston hadn't visited this place since the day you went missing. He had only arranged for someone to take care of it, Lulu explained in a whisper. Thinking back, Jared had always made coffee for Nicole. He had even spent a great deal of time at this place. Nicole and Lulu. The two then ordered coffee and waited for Mr. Ellison. Their appointment was at 3:30, so Mr. Ellison should be arriving soon. You finally decided to remember this old man after you've been back for so long, an elderly man suddenly teased while approaching the table. Looking up, Nicole saw Mr. Ellison. Though weathered and aged, he still exuded a friendly and calm air about him. Mr. Ellison, Nicole and Lulu greeted. Please, have a seat. After sitting down, Mr. Ellison sized Nicole up. You haven't changed much. Neither have you, Nicole replied. We've ordered you coffee, though I'm not sure if your taste has changed or not. Ha ha ha, Mr. Ellison chuckled heartily. Old habits die hard. My taste won't change easily. Mr. Ellison did not expect Nicole to remember the coffee he liked, and because of this, he felt a sense of warmth deep within.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.